Climate adaptation today is really very important for the rail industry. We see extreme weather hazards drastically increasing. Basically, you can read it almost every day in the newspaper. For me, it's not a question of if, but when. There are a lot of recent examples. If you just watch the news, a few weeks ago in the south of Germany, heavy rains, landslide, derailment of a train, fatalities. Those are the things which we don't want. But if we don't do anything, it will happen more frequently. The other thing is that the cost of climate hazards are drastically increasing. The insurers lately have estimated it at about 320 billion, which is an increase of about 20% just compared to 2023. And this is not only about the loss of productivity, but a lot of other costs that are associated with it. There's also a lot of impact if weather events occur. It can be about damaged infrastructure. It can be about the loss of revenue of the operators. There's also damage of the reputation of the public transportation in general, of particular companies. Of course, there's the loss of productivity of the commuters who cannot get to work, with an increasing impact on the regional economy. But also the financing costs can go up if this happens more often. So therefore, it's important to be convincing and knowing what the resilience is of your transportation network. It's also a big responsibility. Regulators and operators around the world increasingly do recognize this, although some still do not have it as the highest priority. But what is clear is that it is becoming more visible and recognized. For example, you can see that because of the European Commission has allocated a climate adaptation fund of about 28 billion to stimulate and assist regional and country operators to be prepared for this. Of course, we as Arcadis, with our resilience and sustainability history, we are very much committed and involved in all this and to help our clients to be prepared. Just a couple of examples of what we've seen in the past couple of years. For example, during heat and drought, we've seen in the UK, in Netherlands, increasing subsidence of particular parts of the railway network, which then had to be closed. We also see multiple cases of flooding, like the flooding that last year happened in the metro of Sao Paulo. And of course, you remember what has happened in Manhattan after the superstorm Sandy. Heavy rainfalls can really lead to landslides, as we have recently seen in Germany, causing derailment and fatalities. Heat stress can also impact the electronics of the electronic interlocking of the railway, which then also has to shut down. The increasing number of bushfires can also cause the railway to lock down. Heavy winds leading to trees falling over, breaking the overhead lines, or just blocking the railroad. Today we see an increasing number of examples of extreme weather events impacting the rail networks. It's clear this is not a matter of one size fits all. It's not a simple solution. It's really important to understand the specific situation for the specific network in the particular geography to know how you best can be prepared for this. Therefore, it's helpful to have facts and data. First of all, to work with the modeling of the exposure of the network to extreme weather events and climate hazards. Secondly, to understand and quantify those associated risks and the impact that it has. With that, thirdly, it's possible to develop solutions, options, how to mitigate, how to prevent and minimize the impact, and also to estimate the costs associated with each of those measures or interventions. And then, as a last, you can really start programming the priorities related to the budget available, related to where the biggest impact can be made. An interesting example is where we have done a full climate stress test for the whole railway network in the Netherlands, which helps the infrastructure manager to truly understand the exposure of the network.
This has led to multiple points where we could see that in a few places there was a high potential risk of flooding, which could paralyze that particular key line. There were some other locations where we identified potential high heat exposure, which could lead to failure of the electronic systems. And with that, the client was able to start prioritizing the interventions and the investments that they want to do in an optimal way to reduce those risks as much as possible. This is the way that really can start making a difference. Extreme weather events occur more and more. It's important to be resilient. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Be prepared.